What's going on, everybody? Mike here, AHC Garage. Welcome back to our channel. Today we have another video on this EM1 that we purchased unexpectedly. Now, the last episode, we started putting some of the item back to stock, a full exhaust system along with the passenger side airbag. We also put a brand new battery. Now, today's video, we'll go ahead and try to get this thing completely cleaned up. But before that, we want to take this fake carbon fiber wrap off the hood. And here you can take a closer look at the hood with the fake carbon fiber wrap. And to be quite honest, they did a pretty good job installing this wrap, but certainly not our style. So we have a couple of options how we can take this off with the least amount of time. So the first thing I'm gonna try is use this air blower along with this heat gun from Milwaukee. And before I put a blower on the wrap, just in case it would come out one piece, I'm gonna go ahead and remove and pop off this nozzle. I don't know, guys, I think we're gonna catch a pretty good break right over here. Take a closer look at it. The wrap is still really soft. So far I don't see any glue or adhesive attached to the hood. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to heat up the rest of the hood area right over here, and I'm gonna put a blower gun and put some compressed air, see if I can completely separate the wrap from the hood. And the air blower method actually working really good. The sort of just kind of stopped because of the little cut right over here, and all the air was escaping from here. So I'll go ahead and start working this corner and then work my way around the hood. All right, guys, so we finally got every single pieces of the hood, and take a look at the hood condition. It isn't the best. We got some dents up in the front, and I think I see one somewhere right over here. I can't see it right now. Oh, right here. I'm not sure you guys can see it, but it does look like the hood have some sort of paint clear coat issues, and besides the little adhesive that was from the wrap still on the paint. But take a closer look. Man, I don't know what's going on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk over to the paint shop. I'm gonna grab Brian from Paint Society. I'm gonna have him take a look and tell me what's going on here. Hey Brian, what's going on with the paint here?
Well, it looks like this actual vehicle has fallen to what we know as crow's feet, a big Honda issue. We've seen it mostly on all the EM1s. We've even seen it into more late models with the 4th Gen TL, more specifically on the Crystal Black Pearl with those vehicles. And basically what the crow's feet is a paint defect. Remember that paint is not made by Acura, so basically whatever brand they were using at the time, it gets dry, it got old, and it really didn't hold itself together anymore, and it cracked. And that's what we see here with the crow's feet, which is basically just little cracks in the paint. Now, granted, there's tons of damage, but the only real way to fix a hood like this is we gotta strip it down to metal. Now, if you're a longtime subscriber of the channel, you've probably seen that we've done this on multiple EM1 hoods where we've taken it down to bare metal, and that's just what we would have to do in the event of repairing this. But I think what we should do, Mike, is as we go around the car, I mean, the car's got some age on it, but it still has a little bit of life left in the paint. But I think what we could do is option number one. Let's ask you guys at home, what do you think? Should we just go around and give it a nice detail, get it nicely cleaned up? Granted, there are some dings and dents that we can remove, and then we'll take a look at it and see, hey, maybe it looks good. Or should we get a little bit more extensive into it? And what do I mean by extensive? Well, I don't mean complete restoration, but I mean a pretty decent paint job, removing as much as we can, not taking off any panels, but removing all the parts, headlights, trims, doing a proper full up paint job, and giving this a brand new look. See, we could paint the hood right now and it would look great, but it would make the rest of the vehicle not look as good because it would stand out. So even with buffing, it still wouldn't have that same quality, that same deep, wet look. So I just want to ask the guys at home, what do you guys think? Do you think we should give it a nice good polish for what it is? Or should we completely strip this thing down and give it a Acura Honda Classic paint job? That's what I want to know from you guys.
And with the hood wrap out of the way, next up, we're gonna move on to our next step, which is cleaning up this vehicle. And we're gonna first start off under the engine bay right over here. All we're gonna use is some simple cleaning solution and then field brushes. The first thing we're gonna do is take out the strut bar so we get more access, clean out between the intake manifold and then the shock tower. And also we're gonna cover up the distributor right over here. And guys, after just some simple cleaning, along with a light power wash, the engine bay look really, really good. Definitely a total transformation from before. Now take a look at the valve cover here. As you can see and expected, the valve cover coating started to lift, which kind of lifting before the wash. So later on, we're gonna be definitely taking care of that valve cover. Now before we do that, let's go ahead and get the car up in the air. We wanna take the wheels off so we can get the fender liners and the wheel well cleaned up. Then we'll work our way back from the bottom. And guys, we got the wheels off. Let's take a look and see what we are working with here. Overall, really good conditions, not too bad, but we're gonna start off with the fender liners, front and back. Then we're gonna work our way down to the bottom of the vehicle. So we got all 4 fender wells nice and cleaned up, and here's the fun part. Let's take a look at the undercarriage area. Look, all that good stuff down here. So before we go ahead and foam can our undercarriage, we'll go ahead and pressure clean most of the stuff off first. Then we can spray our spray foam and do the final cleaning. Take a look at that right there. Look 90% better, and look at all the fun stuff. Everything is pretty much all on the ground here. We'll go ahead and get his pressure clean and get most of the stuff out of the bay. Then next up, we'll get our foam cannon and go ahead and foam this up, give it a cup of the brush. Man, that thing's gonna look real nice. guys, take a look at the final result. It came out beautiful, totally worth the time getting everything else cleaned up. Take a look at the chassis down here, the fuel tank. Man, looks so much better than before. Next up, let's go ahead and put the wheels back on and clean up the exterior. Okay, so we got the undercarriage all finished up and I got myself cleaned up as well and I got myself some rest. Next up, we're gonna work on the exterior. What we're gonna do, just gonna be a nice wash. Before we do that, we're gonna go give it a really good rinse. We're gonna foam it, give it a nice bath, and then maybe go for some buffing. All right, guys, we got her nice and cleaned up. So let's take a quick walk around and see what she looks like. So it's been over a year since I got her from the seller and been sitting in the back of the shop and also outside for a little while. And so far we got the engine bay, we got the undercarriage, and we got the body nice and washed up. So let's take a quick closer look at these panels. And as you can see, still a lot of imperfection. Definitely could use a really good buff. You can see some squirrel marks and a lot of scratches all around the car. So before we do anything drastic, we're gonna do a minor buff and see what the paint looks like before we make any drastic changes or decision, I should say. And from there, we'll see where it goes.
All right, so we saw Juan, he was doing all the buffing. Now, what was he using? Well, there's a few different polishers on the market, different types. There's a rotary polisher that professionals would use in a body shop. That is not really for beginners. Why? You can burn through the paint very easily. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer or someone that's new to polishing, or most polishers or detailers are going to use something like this. This is a polisher. Now, Milwaukee just put one out, and it's an amazing polisher. Obviously, because it's cordless, it works very well. And with the big battery, the M18, it adds a little bit of weight, but still you can get around the whole entire car. Why do you want this? Well, it's a little bit more dummy-proof. It's not going to remove the deepest of deepest scratches, but it's going to remove your swirl marks and anything on the actual surface itself. So we're actually going to be using this product, which we use a lot in the shop. This is a turbo wax swirl remover. And one of the main reasons why I like using this is because when we put it on our fingers, it's not too aggressive. It's very, very, very fine. If this was aggressive like compound, it would be gritty like sand. Now it would be good for one thing. It would cut down the surface. It would remove paint. We don't want to remove too much paint on this restoration project, but this is a polish. It's smooth, but just a little bit of cutting power to remove those swirls, and that's exactly what Juan went ahead and did. Now the pad is very important. Now this might appear a little bit dirty, but it's completely washed out, and that's something that you want to do. Now this is a medium cutting pad. What does that mean? It's a little bit more denser than this polishing pad, okay? A medium cutting pad is going to actually minorly cut the surface so we can remove those swirls or any sort of blemishes on top of the actual vehicle. Now, don't expect complete miracles out of anything like this. The only miracle you're really gonna get from this old of a car is obviously repainting it, and that's not what we're doing just yet. So a polishing pad can be followed it after, but we're actually going to be applying a wax to this actual vehicle. So there's a different type of waxing buffer that you can use. You can pick it up anywhere. We'll leave a link in the description if that's something you want to do. It's very safe as well. So let me go ahead and show that to you. Now this is a Orbital polisher, very safe polisher. You're not going to ruin any paint with this. This is more of an applicator, okay? You can also take it off by hand or by changing the pad and using this to take it off. Now, this is just a wax that we have. This car is going to be moved outside, and we just want to make sure that we kind of protect the paint as much as we can. There's also ceramic coating, but this is something very basic. Now, there's a couple different ways that you guys can do this. I do happen to like to just apply a little bit on the actual surface in no particular way. There are some people that will apply it to the car. I will put it on the actual pad, and obviously it's not plugged in right now, but once Juan gets started, I like to just kind of put it in there. And now we can work it into the actual panel, and I like to do about a 2 foot by 2 foot area. And you can see it's got one speed, not too fast, but that's exactly what we're doing. We're working the wax into the panel. And this is also going to enhance the color, the shine just a little bit. Keep in mind that some wax or most waxes are gonna have fillers in them, so it's gonna make it look better. But what we're going for here is more of the protection. Now, once this is on this panel, you can move on to the next panel, and you're gonna wanna let this sit, I would say, for a good 10 minutes. You'll do the finger test, and basically what that is once you touch it and it leaves a clean streak, then you know you can wipe it off with a clean towel.
All right, guys, we're all done with today's video. Let's do a quick recap and go over what we have done so far. So we started off with the video removing that fake carbon fiber wrap off the hood. Then we did some major pressure washing under the engine bay and also undercarriage. Then we finish off with a light polish and waxing, and the exterior looks so much better, and I'm really loving the result. And drop the comment below and let us know what you think. And we are all done with today's video. On the next video, we'll be doing some maintenance, so don't want to miss. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And until then, we'll see you guys next week.